In today's video, I am going to be talking to you about and showing you different modern basketball offenses. There's more and more teams running 5 and 4 out offenses, mainly to spread the defense out and to create more lanes to attack the basket, but also to be able to create more three-point shooting options and chances for their team. Now, we're going to start with the 5 out. I do have a complete guide to the 5 out offense down in the description below, and then we're going to move over to the 4 out offense as well. I'm going to give you a couple of different strategies, and this is also why, if you're a player watching this, that every single player needs to learn how to handle the ball, but also shoot the ball at a high level. Let's get down. Let's check out the 5 out offense really quickly. So first, we're just going to go up really quickly against a man-to-man defense, and what we're going to start with is our traditional post players, our bigger guys, up along the wings. We're going to have our small forward / shooting guards along the corners, and we're going to have, obviously, our point guard at the point. Really quickly, this is the wing, this is the corner, and then, of course, this is the point, this is the high post, this is the low post. Now, from there, what we're going to be having is player 5 setting a pin down screen for player 2. Player 1 is going to be dribbling over towards the wing, and player 2 is going to be using that pin down screen, and he's also going to be using player 1 as a dribble handoff. At this point in time, what we're hoping for is for there to be a switch here. If this was a very strong move or a very strong screen, we could have an open 3-point shot for player 2. We could also have player 2 attack that high post and attack that key, which could draw player 5 up, in which case player 5 would then have either a mismatch here or be totally wide open if player 2 chased, and have a wide open high post to low post pass for player 5. We could also run at the same time, having player 4 set a screen down for player 3 so that player 2 has an outlet option if player 5 was not open, or if player 2 was unable to attack the rim for a layup or a jump shot, he could outlet to player 3 for a 3-point shot from the opposite wing. This will give you a couple of different options. And at least at this point, if that player 3 was still covered, we could then just easily cover back and say, well, just set a quick screen for player 1 to get back up top and have these guys clear back out and essentially run another 5 out offense. A simple 5 out offense after already running a set play is to do simple stuff like a pass and, of course, screen away. And you could easily just set this up with your team and you can teach them the 3 basics and essentially just have players who potentially could be open. So for example here, the basics would be the pass and screen away I just showed you, the pass and screen 4, which would then have player 1 roll towards the basket, player 4 fill up top, player 4 could hit the 3, could hit player 1 rolling towards the basket, and then we could also have player 3 then fill up, player 1 fill out. And then at this point, we could go to the next simple play, which is the pass and cut, which would be a pass, and of course, player 4 cutting. If he's open, hit him up. If not, player 2 fills, player 5 fills, player 4 fills, and of course, we can still run our 5 out offense that way. But at least this is a good example of how you could set up an offense with your team. Now, the 5 out offense is a very popular offense. It really started becoming popularized in the NBA. It's moved down to the college level. And when you start looking at the youth level, there's more and more teams running the 5 out because there's so many teams running a zone defense. And with a zone defense, what you'll find with the 5 out is you're essentially creating a lot of different options. So with player 1 up top against a 2-3, you're generally going to have a trap up top. The lower line players are generally going to move a bit higher. And you can even just run a quick read and react with a 5 out. With that being said, you could have player 4 cut down and player 2 cut up to the high post. At this point in time, you could have player 1 pass to player 2, which then could be a quick turn and shoot, or player 5 could rise up to defend player 2, which he should, and we could have then players 3 and 4 cut baseline, and player 2 could have the option to pass one of those two players the ball for a quick simple layup. And that would be just a very simple read and react play that you could run with your team. Again, make sure to check out my complete guide to the 5-out offense down in the description below. It's going to give you a lot of different options of plays that you can run, some different NBA plays as well. So I know that if you wanted to run the 5-out, that book would be perfect for you. But what about the 4-out offense? Now, with the 4-out offense, what we see here is obviously we've got 4 players who are spread out, and this could be ran a few different ways. Against a zone, I really do like to have the players spread out. Even against a man, it's nice, but you could run a quick high 4-out 1 in. You could run a high quick 4-out 1 in as well with the player in the low post, or you can have the spread 4-out, which is what I personally prefer. Now from there, what you could run is just a simple, and you see this a million times in the NBA, a quick screen and roll with that low post player. And what's going to happen here is, of course, player 4 is going to be coming down most likely, especially at the youth level. They're going to be moving down to try and cut off that screen and roll, that drive by player 1, which could be a layup for player 5, could be a kick out for player 4. That's generally not how you would prefer to run that defense. You would prefer player 3 to move over and play help defense from, of course, the opposite side. However, things do happen. Player 1 could also hit that shot as well. He could continue through and do a hammer pass out to player 3, or technically a hammer would be with a screen up with player 2 moving down. There's so many different options that you could run out of that. However, the whole main concept is, of course, to get simple screen and roll baskets and easy layups or dunks at the rim, or by collapsing that defense and kicking that ball out for a 3-point shot. And that's going to be the main thing that you're going to see with both of these offenses. This is why a lot of younger players really need to focus on their ball handling as well as their shooting, no matter how tall they are, because you have to have a complete game these days. Of course, myself, I was 6'2" when I was in grade 8, and I was a center, and I was always told, you're not shooting, you're not handling the ball, you have to stay in the low post. Well, guess what? I'm still 6'2", and I'm 31 years old. So when I turned into grade 11, that's when I really had to work on my ball handling and my shooting a lot, because at that point I was transitioning into being a guard. So it's not just about what your team needs today, it's what your team could need next year or even 4 years down the road, but also being able to shoot and ball handle works with a lot of different plays as well. Now, these are some of the more modern offenses that you're going to see in just a couple of quick examples. If you also wanted to run a modern offense with your team, definitely check out, I've got millions of videos, thousands of videos about basketball offenses, 4-out and 5-out offenses. Also, I have the complete guide down in the description below. I hope that this video has helped you and your team. If it has, hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys again next time.